Who can attain to anything great if he does not feel in himself the force and will to inflict great pain, but not to perish from internal distress and doubt when one inflicts great suffering and hears the cry of it? That is great. That belongs to greatness. Friedrich Nietzsche, The Gay Science. Imagine standing in the storm of life's greatest challenges, where every hardship seems like a relentless test of your spirit. What if the secret to profound joy and inner freedom lies not in avoiding these challenges, but in embracing them with open arms? Dive with us into the philosophical worldview of Friedrich Nietzsche, where we examine how embracing suffering can unlock happiness and even deep joy. Welcome to Pondering Psyche, where we dive deep into psychology, philosophy, and big ideas that make you go, In this episode, we explore one of philosophy's most provocative ideas, that embracing suffering can unlock a profound, almost divine sense of joy. Friedrich Nietzsche, a seminal 19th century philosopher, philologist, and cultural critic, challenged conventional morality and truth with provocative ideas like the Ubermensch, the will to power, and the assertion that God is dead. Invites us on a journey to understand how our darkest moments can lead to our greatest transformations. I suffer. Someone must be to blame for it. Thus thinks every sickly sheep. But his shepherd, the ascetic priest, tells him, "Quite so, my sheep. Someone must be to blame for it. But you yourself are this someone. You alone are to blame for it. You alone are to blame for yourself." Friedrich Nietzsche, on the genealogy of morality. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy revolves around the intrinsic value of suffering and its role in personal growth. For Nietzsche, suffering was a crucial aspect of life's narrative that deepens one's understanding of self and the world. Why should embracing life's sufferings matter to you? Because it unveils the resilience and depth within us, challenging us to grow beyond our perceived limits. It's not about glorifying pain, but understanding its role in sculpting a more profound existence. By confronting and integrating these experiences of suffering, we align closer with our core selves, deepening authentic fulfillment. So let's explore how transforming our perception of suffering can transform our lives. Nietzsche's life as a crucible of suffering. To see others suffer does one good. To make others suffer even more. This is a hard saying, but an ancient, mighty, human, all too human principle which even the apes might subscribe. For it has been said that in devising bizarre cruelties, they anticipate man and are, as it were, his prelude. Friedrich Nietzsche, on the genealogy of morality. Born in 1844 in Recurrence, Prussia, Friedrich Nietzsche embodied a life where personal suffering was a profound lived experience. Losing his father, a Lutheran pastor, at a young age, Nietzsche was thrust early into the depths of existential questioning. His upbringing within a pious household instilled a familiarity with religious narratives of suffering, which he would later philosophically dissect and challenge. Struggling with debilitating health issues throughout his life, including severe migraines and a complete physical breakdown at the age of 34, Nietzsche's physical suffering profoundly influenced his philosophical outlook. This personal adversity forced him to resign from a promising academic career at the University of Basel, pushing him into solitude. It was in these periods of forced withdrawal that Nietzsche developed his radical ideas, questioning the value of suffering and its necessity in the pursuit of personal growth and excellence. The concept of greatness is changeable in the realm of morality as well in that of aesthetics. And so, philosophy starts by legislating greatness. Friedrich Nietzsche, Philosophy in the Tragic Age of the Greeks. Nietzsche's philosophical journey was marked by the development of the concept of the Übermensch, or overman, a figure who embraces suffering as a vehicle for transcendence and the creation of new values. His idea of eternal recurrence, a profound acceptance of life's cyclical nature of suffering, challenges individuals to live authentically in the face of eternal returns of every joy and pain. Nietzsche's legacy, encapsulated in the would-be epitaph of Amor, Fati, reflects his advocacy for loving one's fate, including the suffering it entails, as the ultimate affirmation of life. His philosophical contributions continue to challenge and inspire, urging us to perceive suffering as an indispensable part of the human experience that drives our transformative potential. The role of suffering in personal growth. Only great pain is the ultimate liberator of the spirit. Friedrich Nietzsche, The Gay Science. Nietzsche's philosophy, notably his concept of Amor Fati, embodies a profound acceptance and love of fate, in which he writes, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backwards, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it. All idealism is mendacity in the face of what is necessary, but love it." Friedrich Nietzsche, Ecce Homo, Basic Writings of Nietzsche. This love of fate is not passive resignation, but an active celebration of life as it is, both the joys and the inevitable sufferings. Nietzsche's Amor Fati is the culmination of his challenge to us to live as yes-sayers, individuals who embrace reality in its entirety, striving to see the beauty in the necessary aspects of existence, including suffering. The idea of Amor Fati connects Nietzsche with the ancient Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, who similarly emphasize the value of embracing one's fate. However, Nietzsche extends this Stoic acceptance to a more radical appreciation of all aspects of life, viewing the interplay of joy and suffering as essential to the development of human greatness. Suffering, in Nietzsche's view, is not merely an obstacle, but is intrinsically linked to joy. It is the backdrop against which moments of profound happiness gain their meaning. In The Gay Science, he proposes that suffering is the ultimate liberator of the spirit, suggesting that our deepest pains are what forge our most profound insights and joys. This dialectic between suffering and joy is central to his idea of personal growth, where the acceptance of suffering is not about enduring pain, but about transforming it into a catalyst for self-overcoming and existential achievement. As we arrive at the midpoint of our exploration into Nietzsche's take on the value of suffering, Pondering Psyche asks that if you're getting value out of discussions like this, that you please like, subscribe, and share this content with others so that we can continue producing explorations of humanity's greatest philosophical, psychological, and intellectual ideas. The Eternal Cycle, Nietzsche's vision of suffering and return. I come again with this sun, with this earth, with this eagle, with this serpent. Not to a new life or a better life or a similar life. I eternally come again to this identical and self-same life in the greatest and even in the smallest, so that I again teach the eternal recurrence of all things. Friedrich Nietzsche thus spoke Zarathustra. In our exploration of Nietzsche's philosophy of suffering, the concept of eternal recurrence stands as a testament to his radical perspective. This notion, while not originally his, was revitalized by Nietzsche, who introduced it as a challenging thought experiment in The Gay Science. He asked, What if a demon declared that you must live your life over and over in exactly the same way? Nietzsche's response to this hypothetical scenario wasn't despair, but an invigorating call to embrace life fully, with all its sufferings and joys. Eternal recurrence in Nietzsche's framework suggests that every action, every joy, and every pain has infinite significance precisely because they recur infinitely. This perspective forces us to reconsider our approach to suffering. If every moment of anguish is to be relived eternally, the motivation to transform our relationship with these moments becomes paramount. Nietzsche's dive into this abyss of thought was not just philosophical, it was deeply personal. Having faced severe health crises and emotional turmoil throughout his life, Nietzsche found in the idea of eternal return a form of ultimate acceptance, a way to affirm life, not despite its pains, but because of them. Nietzsche's concept of eternal recurrence invites us to contemplate a life so well lived that we would choose to repeat it exactly as it is over and over again. By integrating this profound acceptance into our understanding of suffering and personal tragedies, we are encouraged to construct a life that we would be eager to relive in its entirety. A life where even the darkest hours are seen as necessary chapters in our story that we would willingly experience again and again. This philosophy provides a robust framework for personal growth, highlighting how embracing our entire journey, including the suffering, enriches our existence and leads to a deeply meaningful life. Applying Amor Fati to daily life. Only great pain, the long, slow pain that takes its time, forces us philosophers to descend into our ultimate depths. I doubt that such pain makes us better, but I know that it makes us more profound. Friedrich Nietzsche, The Gay Science. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy of Amor Fati is not about passive acceptance, but about embracing life with all its challenges and joys. Nietzsche himself lived this philosophy, turning personal suffering into profound insights that challenge conventional values and morality. Firstly, embodying Amor Fati means seeing every experience, whether joyful or painful, as an essential part of your life's narrative. Nietzsche faced prolonged illness and solitude, yet these adversities were integral to his philosophical development. By fully accepting these conditions, he could transcend them and transform his suffering into a powerful creative force. Secondly, this philosophy teaches us resilience in the face of life's unpredictability. Embrace setbacks and difficulties not just as unavoidable, but as opportunities for personal growth and self-overcoming. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch was about rising above the human, not through avoidance, but through the transformation of suffering into a tool for achieving greatness. Lastly, integrate Amor Fati into your daily life by challenging yourself to affirm life unconditionally, not begrudgingly. This means actively choosing to love your fate, which includes the pain, without seeking to disguise or mitigate it. By adopting Nietzsche's Amor Fati, you encourage a life where suffering is not merely endured, but is instrumental in forging a deeper, more meaningful existence. This approach does not diminish the pain, but enriches your engagement with life, making each moment worthy of being lived again in eternal recurrence. As we conclude our introduction to Nietzsche's philosophy of the value of suffering, remember that this is merely the beginning of a larger exploration into the depths of the psyche. If today's journey into the world of Nietzsche has sparked a flame of curiosity within you, let's keep that flame alive by clicking on this video for a deep dive into how Diogenes' philosophy of classical cynicism just might be the path to true freedom.